Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great Millstone that taught me what I know today due to the inspiration of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, which is indeed His Holy Spirit, which was placed upon those men and as well as unto us now. And shalom to the or should I say Salakia, giving also the salutations thereof towards the Akyam and the Akwaf Yam as well for heeding unto us. And once again, it's your brother Laban, actually another video. And in this video, I'm going to be going over a topic concerning these excessive deaths. This is something that I wanted to go over last week ago, but now better late than never, I guess, this is the right time to do it. Lord willing, as always, we do these videos to edify you as well. And hopefully this will be edifying to a degree, because I want to point something out even through these articles, So let's get into it. So this reads, Britain's excess death rate is at a disastrous high, and the causes go far beyond the what, as you can see that. And it reads, when most people hear that phrase, humanitarian crises. Hold on, wait there. I'll tell you, let me just read from here. It says, a deadly avoidable crisis is underway, fueled by NHS cuts, the neglect of social care, inequality, and the soaring cost of living. When most people hear that phrase, humanitarian crises, they think abroad, somewhere far away, and certainly not in Britain. But how else to describe the tens of thousands of bodies avoidably piling up in the nation's mortuaries? One funeral home worker says that they have run out of space for the deceased and are having to keep some in coffin in office rooms. Another hospital porter reports that the mortuaries has been near capacity for 2 weeks. Excuse me. This national issue should be splashed on every front page and leading every bulletin. It isn't. Why? And he's absolutely right. Last year in the UK, there were nearly 40,000 excess deaths. That is the deaths above a 5-year average. That's nearly as many as were killed by the Luftwaffe in the Blitz in the last 2 weeks of 2022 deaths. Were a fifth higher than the average from 2016 to 2019. I don't have to read that. And that's taken into account factors such as a bigger aging population. According to the Office for the National Statistics, there have been about 170,000 excess deaths in England and Wales since the pandemic began. Most of these can be directly attributed to the sea itself. After all, the virus name is scrawled on the death certificates of more than 212,000 UK citizens. Some of those who died may have been vulnerable or infirm, but in other circumstances, year away from death. As the pandemic waned, we could have expected excess deaths to shift to below average levels. One time this had not happened. Now, we all know the core reason, especially us in the knowledge, as to why this is the case. And speaking about what I'm speaking about, I just want to also mention that, there's a film that you can check out on Rumble, and it's called Sudden Death. And that's all I'm going to say right there and there. So if you want to check that out, which I believe some of you brothers have already checked it out and you know what that's all about. But for those of you brothers that haven't, I suggest you go check that out. Okay. So what I also want to go into now is proving that there's a consequence when you don't trust in the Lord. In verse 5, thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness and the salt land, and not inhabited. And many people that have underwent that procedure did what their government told them to do, is because obviously, who do you trust? Who else can you trust when it concerns the average person? And among the average person, they may even say that they're religious or they believe in a particular religion or so, but they didn't really believe in that religion. They really believed in what their government was telling them. And they went and underwent that procedure under these fears that was shown to them to fear about. You know, as I can recall back in 2019 when they was first blowing it up, saying that it was a virus that went out of the Wuhan lab and everything else. And as the months came about, it just got out of hand. More people were getting affected and dying, and they were showing, even on, I believe it was BBC News, you know, people lumped up in hospitals because they caught the C. And, you know, that was just to persuade the public to get the VC S's. And all it was just an evil, wicked plan. Okay, that the people didn't see because the people were unaware of the greater evils controlling them, which are guiding these very few top men at the very top of this world right now. Okay, and when you get into these scriptures, man, and you really lean on the Lord and his understanding, what you'll find out is that these greater evils exist. And once you're consciously aware of that, these greater evils can't have an effect on you because you already see what they're all about, and whatever they're coming with, you can only but expect just that in itself. All right. So that's what it's all about, man. That's all I'm going to say right there. So going back to, let me read this as well. Let me read something in the book of Sirach, because also this reads too, just to connect this scripture with the scripture that I just read here in Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away." And the evil and wicked one, or as a race of people, they're known as the Edomites. And all they can bring about is evil and wickedness. As it is written, the Lord have created all things, yea, even the wicked, for the day of evil. So the wicked can only but bring forth evil. That's the only thing they can bring to you. So any Edomite that's telling you what you should do for the interest of your health, you need to think contrary. What is he really saying to what he's actually telling you? All right. And this is what we know. This is what we know to the highest degree. Now, you got jakes that are not in the truth. They kind of do know that this man is the devil, but you know to an ultra level that this devil cannot be trusted. Again, just being consciously aware above the average person, because you can be aware, you could be consciously aware, but how consciously aware are you is which should be the question. There's levels to consciousness. All right. As it is in this world, there's different levels on everything. And when you get into this truth trumps your conscious level to the highest level. So anything that happens, you already see it coming before it even happens. That's the level that we're on mentally and spiritually as well. Okay. And again, I want to show you an article of an individual that was a rock musician. I don't really know who this guy is. I just found him. And as it tells you what it is, I don't really have to go all the way and read this to you. You know, you see what this is saying. And, you know, for the obvious reasons, I'm not going to read it because they're going to take my video down if I do. And they're going to put a strike on my channel. And so there you have it. Many people believed in the hype, corresponded due to fear and not knowing of these greater evils. So they went and underwent this procedure, and now they're finally realizing it and learning more about this thing that they took, and they're either drop dead from it or they are about to drop dead. and they're having side effects. Like it came out in the news that Elon Musk, he feels funny after he did what he had to do. And this other articles telling that people are actually suffering from this thing called tinnitus, where you're hearing this ringing sound in the depth of your ears. Sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't. But people are having these problems because that's what that thing does. It causes these issues. Okay, now an average person will hear that sound every so in the blue moon. But when you get that thing, man, something's going on in your body, because your body is basically has been compromised. All right. So that's why people are having these strange side effects, and their body's breaking down slowly but surely. And as well as they're getting these thick strings within their bloodstream. Again, you can watch that film. I'm not going to give it away. You can watch that film, Sudden Death, and it breaks it all the way down on what's really within inside the people and why they're having these hemorrhages and these heart attacks. So that's all I'm going to say on that regard. So let me go and read the book of, before I go, then let me read this. Now, Jeremiah 17 and verse 7. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when the heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, and neither shall cease from yielding fruit. In other words, when bad cometh, it's not gonna affect us. It's kind of like when we start to see, because it's gonna come around the corner. I believe this could very well be the year where we see this, man, where people are going to be walking down the street and they're just going to be laid out. I'm just being honest, man. I'm just going to be raw with it. You're going to be walking down the street. You may be working with someone and all of a sudden they fall out. But guess what? This is where Psalm 91 comes in. Psalms 91 tells us that we're going to see many fall. I'm going to just bring it out right now. Psalms 91, verse, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, verse 7, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So, as we have it, we're in the days of pestilence. At 6, I should have just read this. Let me read this. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth in noonday. Right? So, because of these pestilence, many will fall. Thousands are going to fall. And guess what? That pestilence is not going to come near us. Ultimately, because of one thing. Because we trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We're leaning onto his knowledge and his understanding. And I just want to pull that out, because Proverbs 3 specifies that. Thine eyes. I'm going to read verse 21. Proverbs 3 and verse 21. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes, and keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. That's why we're still alive and right now and doing well, healthily wise. Because we didn't agree what our government was saying. Because our real government is Yahweh Shai. That's our confidence. That's our power that we trust. So because we trusted in the higher power, that higher power has spared our life. Okay, that higher power has given us life, because he's the power of life. Yeah, he's the power of life and death, but more so life. So when we hearken unto the power, we can only but get life. But the enemy of life, which is Esau right now, cannot be trusted. And this is why people have underwent that curse. Okay, well, undergoing that curse right now, getting ready to leave the earth. Because they're having these side effects. Like this musician that I've just briefly showed. This guy over here. Okay. So now I want to go back and read Jeremiah 17. No, I don't have to read that again. Yeah, there's something else that I wanted to pull out too, man. Yeah, it was Psalms 91. Let me go back to Psalms 91 because I left something out. It's Psalms 91 and verse 1. Just to connect back to Proverbs 3 as of what I was reading. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Verse 2, I will say of the Lord Yahweh is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence, which is those missiles. So what is the snare? Or the snares? The snares could either mean many different various things that Esau wants to make you undergo. Like one of the greatest snares that people came into was this VC thing, due to the psychological operation that started back in 2019 of this variant, and we're still under this psyop to this very moment in time. So people believed in the hype, and now they're suffering of it. So the snare is the VC, and as well as this, the ultimate snare is going to be that micro C-hip. We know what's going on. Due to this knowledge and this understanding, we're going to overcome this devil by operating with truth. When you operate with truth, this devil can't really come at you with his lies and his deceptions and his psychological tactics. The only way he can come at you with these things is if you're living a lie. You're living in his world. But when you live in the world of truth, he can't get at you with that. Okay? That's why we've overcome this psychological operation. I just want to point out the importance of living in the truth, not your truth or his truth, the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that the purpose of man is to serve his creator, to keep his commandments. All right? That's the true purpose of man. Is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and to honor and to acknowledge the Son in doing so. The only purpose of man is to acknowledge Yahweh Shai. And when you acknowledge Yahweh Shai, by default, you're going to keep those laws and those statutes. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes 12. And I believe is in the last verse where it reads, the whole duty of man is to keep the commandments. Okay? So that's living in the truth. But when you step outside of that and you live in a world of lies, that's the only way that the devil can psychologically warp you to do what he wants you to do. That's why many people are dead right now. Or if not, they're probably dying because they believed in the lie, because they were living a lie. Psalms 91 verse 3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snares of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. And he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust, and his truth shall be thy shield and buckler. And that's what it's supposed to be. When you come into this knowledge and this understanding, you're supposed to have the mindset of, this is it. This is the only thing that I can use and trust in. You should, rather than thinking, I wonder if this is true or not. No, this should be the truth, the one and only truth. There should be no options to you. Okay. So verse 5, and thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrows that fleeth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, and nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So there you go. So all of this stuff that we're going to start to see and witness, like I've said, and I'll say this again, or one of the things we're going to see, we're going to see people drop right in front of us probably. And it's probably going to happen this year, or it could possibly be next year. We don't really know. But it's going to be some time coming where people are going to start dropping like flies out here. All right. And we're going to see that same play out, dropping like flies. It's going to start getting real out here. So the thing of it is, in that time, we're going to have to be in that same kind of state of mind that we're in right now, trusting in the Lord and not getting shaked up when you start to see these things. As a matter of fact, it should convince you that there's a higher power working at large, because remember, it's the Lord that determines life and death, as it is written in the book of Psalms. The Lord belongeth the issues. The Lord is our power of salvation, and unto him belongeth the issues of death. The Lord also killeth and he maketh alive. That's in the book of 1 Samuel 2, verse 6 to verse 7, I believe it is. And many more of the precepts. So there you have it. That's all I have to say for this. And with that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bar Hashem, Yahweh Shai Bar Hashem Rakak Wadash. And with that, I say Shalom.